You hear me? Okay. Okay, thank you to everybody being here. First of all, please come closer, if possible. You have to, it's not, please just in front row, so we have more close in contact with the trainees. Today's we'll have the first training on passenger and special needs, organized within the Captain project. We have two sessions, morning session that goes until 1 p.m. with the short break. Then we have a longer break between 1 and 2 p.m. for the lunch. We'll have the opportunity to cope and to deal with the partners from the Captain project if you are interested. Then the second afternoon session from 2 to 6 p.m. With a larger coffee break, I think about around 4 p.m. Just to thank you again for being here. We are present on streaming on YouTube and at the same time on the project website. Let me just introduce you Mr. Bonventis, the person will lead the training session today. It's the floor.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My name is Massimo Bonventi. You can call me Max, so it's more easy to talk with us. I'm a psychologist, and I follow training. I'm involved in the training of people since I was with the short pants. So, first of all, I want to thank the Regione Friuli Venezia Giulia that organizes this session. I hope you want to be involved quite hard during this day, where we will talk about disability, so dividing in three parts. The first part, we will talk about disability, motor disability. First of all, the law, the Italian law and the international law about the name of disability. The second part, we will talk about motorial disability, and the third part, we will talk about the perceptual disability. So, I'll try myself with the slides. The word culture, from Latin colere, to cultivate, is usually declined in two different but complementary concepts. The one humanistic, meaning individual education that allows to cultivate its own mind, including the features that identify a person as more or less cultured. The other anthropological, meaning as the totality of customs and traditions, convictions and certainties, attitudes and behaviors, values and ideals that each human group situated in a specific social and geographical context accomplishes daily to regulate interactions and relations among singles and through groups. If something is not clear, please stop me immediately. UNESCO, United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, defines culture as a series of specific characteristics of a society or social group from a spiritual, material, intellectual, or emotional standpoint. From this point of view, culture is pinpointed by three basic characteristics. The first one, culture is learned and is not reducible at only human biological dimension. For instance, the color of the skin is not a cultural feature, but a genetic characteristic. The second one culture represents the totality of the social and physical ambient created by man. And the third one, culture is shared inside a group or a society, and it is distributed homogeneously inside. Therefore, culture is not an exterior dimension of life. It is practical consciousness connected to personal experience that becomes also theory through a conceptual network, always more complex according to supply coming from external world, from experiences and others, and from how much we were able to transmit personal interior and exterior world of the reference epoch. This day is not and doesn't want to be just a meeting of information and or training more or less ritualistic about disability. This day has the ambition to make culture. That is to train and to attract interest about how to improve assistance to disability, putting on the tables this question. If I would be disabled, what could be my needs, or how I would react in this situation? Understand me? Is it clear? Okay. In the current global village, characterized by societies always more multi-ethnic and then multicultural, intercultural communication is the most crucial instrument of cooperation and social peace. As a consequence of what just said, each individual belonging to a specific ethnic, social, linguistic, or any other kind of community has developed and continued to develop a mental software properly conformed for better living inside the belonging community and to remain connected with any other individual of the same community. Mental software. Besides, this mental software contains also information and instructions to better engage with the disability world. Is it clear right now? Wait, can we continue? Okay, thank you. Disability. Disability is the personal condition of an individual that, following one or more impairment, has a reduced capacity of interaction with social ambient compared that is considered a rule, therefore is less self-governing in making daily usual activities and often disadvantaged in participating to social life. The process of insertion of disabled in the society of normal people has been step by step refined up to become a real process of integration. The term social integration means something profound, as the insertion of different identities in a unique context where there is not a discrimination inside. Disability is not a universal concept, but very often its definition is in relation with the seeker and or the kind of social research in progress. At the present time, it doesn't exist at the international level a unique definition of the term, even if the concept of disability has been debated during United States Nations Organization Convention for the Rights of People with Disability to draw up a final document approved by General Assembly on August 25, 2006. ICI-DH classification. The international classification of impairment, disabilities, and handicap distinguished through impairment, agreed as loss of abnormality regarding a psychological, physiological, or anatomical structure of function and represents extension of a pathological state. If that dysfunction is congenital, we talk about disablement. Disability, or any limitation of capacity to act, natural consequence of a state of impairment and disablement. And handicap, disadvantage lived by someone falling disability or disablement. This means that while disability is agreed, like the disadvantage that the individual shows at personal level, handicap represents the social disadvantage of a person with disability. Not personal, but social. Usually, we talk about handicap to describe a physical disadvantage, without taking into account the intimate emotions that arise when this word is used. Word that can cause in the disabled a feeling of inconvenience and anger for the situation. Even in television, very often use the term handicap to describe the situation of a person disabled without taking into account the situation of inconvenience that can arise in a person. The aforesaid classification has shown a series of limitations along the time. For instance, it does not consider that disability is a dynamic concept, as it just can be only temporary. Moreover, it is difficult to establish a limit further that a person can be considered disabled. It must be also pointed out that a person can be impaired without being disabled. In the ICI-DH, only pathological factors are considered, while as far as limitation or facilitations about the autonomy of the person is concerned, a decisive role is played by environmental factors. In the 90 years, World Health Organization has commissioned to a group of experts to reformulate the classification, taking into account these concepts.